Welcome everyone to Whimsy Woven Stories. Here, we explore gripping tales of real-life twists. Join our storytelling community.
I'm 32, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the financial backbone of my family. The rest of them are a complete mess. My 35-year-old brother, Andrew, inherited $3,500 years ago and blew it all on sports gambling. He can't keep a job for more than 6 months. My 58-year-old mother, Martha, hasn't worked in decades. She survives by borrowing money she never repays. My 29-year-old sister, Lucy, is drowning in credit card debt to keep up with a lifestyle she can't afford, all to maintain her Instagram image. While they squandered their chances, I worked double shifts, canceled vacations, and lived on ramen to save every penny. After 8 years, I managed to save $94,000, the down payment for my future house. Then, 3 weeks ago, a heavy machine fell and crushed half my body. I barely remember the ambulance ride before they induced a coma to reduce brain swelling. The doctors told my family I might not survive. What no one tells you is that sometimes you can still hear everything even when you can't move or open your eyes. I felt trapped, buried alive in my own body. At first, the visits were normal. Mom cried, Lucy mumbled prayers, and Andrew shifted uncomfortably. But on the 4th day, everything changed. The nurse had just left when I heard Andrew murmur, "He's not going to make it. We should take his money now." I wanted to believe I'd misheard, but then Mom replied calmly, "He won't need it anyway." They started going over my accounts, investments, and how to access them. Andrew talked about a power of attorney, and Mom assured him that if I woke up, I wouldn't remember anything. Lucy hesitated and said it felt wrong, but Andrew reminded her of her debts and she shut up. They were ready to carve up my life. When you can't move, you notice the smallest, most absurd details. The cheap bells on Mom's bracelet jingling against my hand, Andrew's mint and beer breath, the 322 identical perforations on each ceiling tile, which I counted over and over to keep from going insane as I listened to their plot. I thought about every sacrifice, the winters I spent waiting for the bus because I couldn't afford a car, the parties I skipped, the thousands of dollars I spent on them, Mom's $800 roof repair, Andrew's $500 bail after a bar fight, Lucy's $600 car repair. Not a single genuine thank you. To them, I was just an ATM with a face. I cried with rage, and the nurse, Clara, noticed. She wiped my tears and whispered that it was normal, a physical response. For 3 days I listened to more plans. Andrew had a guy who could speed up the paperwork, Mom was already dreaming of her kitchen remodel, and Lucy remained quiet but complicit. On the 7th day, the neurologist announced that the swelling was going down and they would start waking me from the coma. There was a chance I might regain my memory. The silence that followed was heavy. Then Mom pretended to sob with emotion, and Andrew bombarded the doctor with questions about potential cognitive damage. That's when I decided on my revenge. I would fake confusion until I secured my money. That night, with the room empty, Clara checked on me and whispered, "Your family's gone. We're alone." I made a superhuman effort to squeeze her hand. "Can you hear me?" Another squeeze. She added, "I'm going to help you. Hold on. Today I'm writing this from my hospital bed, playing the fool whenever they come in. The doctors think some memory loss is normal, so I play the part perfectly. My family showers me with hugs and fake tears, but I still catch Andrew subtly testing me, Mom calculating something behind her glazed stare, and Lucy, surprisingly, seems genuinely relieved. But I'm not ending the charade yet. Clara slips me my phone when no one's around and invents fake tests to give me time alone. I plan to change my passwords, lock down my accounts, and consult a lawyer before I leave here. I'm not sure where this will end, but I won't be the safety net they can fall back on anymore. When I walk again, the house I buy will have a different door, one none of them will know how to open. Tomorrow my friend Harold is visiting. He's the only person I truly trust. I'm going to tell him everything, and together we'll figure out how to protect my money before my family tries to claim it. The doctor said I'll be discharged in 2 weeks. That gives me exactly 14 days to prepare, 14 days to set a trap that will shut out those who were ready to take advantage of me while I was fighting for my life. I've never felt this much rage, and it's hard to think straight just remembering it. But one thing is clear, they won't get away with this. They will regret ever thinking they could take what's mine. I'll update this when I can, but for now, I need to put the phone away before the night nurse comes in. Scott out. Gubaba. This blew up while I was sleeping. Thanks for all the awards. To those asking, yes, my intention is to cut all ties with them, but I have to do it smartly. I can't just explode because they'd realize something's wrong. I'll update as things progress. Second edit. Many have told me to hire a lawyer ASAP. I hear you. Harold's helping me with that. Don't worry, I've got everything documented. Update, it's Scott again. Holy cow, the response to the first post was overwhelming. I had to turn off notifications because my phone started overheating from all the comments. Thank you so much for all the support. I'm really going to need it. As I mentioned, I've been conscious since waking up from the coma, but I'm playing the role of someone disoriented. The doctor said confusion and memory loss are normal after something like this, so I've decided to use it to my advantage. My family has no idea that I clearly remember every word they said when they thought I was in a vegetative state. Harold came to see me the day after my post. I'm so glad I left the phone unlocked so Clara, the nurse, could text him for me when I was alone. When I told him everything, his expression changed 5 times in a few seconds. He wanted to confront them right then and there, but I managed to calm him down. We had to be smarter. Harold works in cybersecurity, something I never paid much attention to, but now it's literally saving my life. The first thing we did was make sure the phone was always hidden when they came to visit. Then he started recording every conversation. In just 3 days we had enough material to make a documentary. The most outrageous part is how they switch personas when someone from the staff comes in. When we're alone they show their true colors, but the moment a nurse or doctor enters, they turn into charitable saints. It's like living with 2 versions of Jekyll and Hyde. Yesterday, for example, Andrew was telling me I shouldn't worry about complicated things like money while Mom, Martha, nodded along. But as soon as the doctor came in, they both showered me with praise and gratitude for simply being alive. The recordings are hard to listen to. Andrew asked me if I still remembered my bank passwords, pretending he wanted to help me pay my bills. When I hesitated, I saw that disgusting glint in his eyes. Martha keeps bringing me homemade food, which by the way is horrible, and pretending to be the devoted mother. But when she thinks I'm asleep, I overhear her on the phone, talking about remodeling the kitchen with the money that's about to come in. What they don't know is that Harold and I haven't wasted any time. The first thing we did was change all my bank passwords. Then we created a new email account exclusively for financial alerts, completely inaccessible to them. The best part is the fake account app Harold installed. It shows fake bank screens with amounts that look real but aren't. For example, it shows a balance of $87,000 instead of the actual $94,000. I actually do, so if there are ever any contradictions, I can claim it's due to post-accident confusion. We almost got caught when Lucy saw me texting Harold from the bathroom. I made her believe I didn't even know what day it was. I fooled her, but I could tell she was suspicious after that. I had to act like a disoriented patient again. I even drooled a little during dinner to sell the act. Not my proudest moment, but it worked. The doctors say my recovery is progressing better than expected, but I keep playing confused whenever they're around. I look at them like I don't recognize them, forget words on purpose, and repeat questions. The second part of our plan went into action 3 days ago when Andrew brought legal documents to the hospital, forms to give him power of attorney. I pretended to be asleep while he told Martha that this was just to simplify everything. He even had the nerve to ask the doctor if I was mentally capable. Luckily, the doctor, who's starting to suspect something, replied that although I have some normal effects from the trauma, I am still legally autonomous. Andrew's face was priceless. If I wasn't so angry, I would have laughed. So, I did something risky. I signed the papers with my left hand. I'm right-handed. I also misspelled my middle name on purpose. That document will be invalid if they try to use it. In the meantime, Harold had already obtained a real power of attorney in his name, notarized, thanks to Clara, who got a friend of hers to come in during the night. Clara deserves a medal. She's been a huge support. She gives me privacy to talk to Harold, managed to sneak my laptop into the hospital, and even pretended to spill water on Andrew when he got too involved in my treatment plan. I'm going to send her the biggest gift basket ever when this is all over. Last night, I almost ruined everything. Martha was sitting next to me looking at kitchen designs on my iPad, showing Lucy the ceramic options for the new renovation. I clenched the sheets so hard my knuckles turned white. I had to fake a coughing fit to get them to call the nurse and give me a minute to compose myself. The rage I feel is physical. My pulse races and sometimes my vision blurs. I look at them and all I want to do is scream, "I heard everything you said when I was in a coma." I can't wait to watch their faces crumble, but that would ruin the whole plan. Harold calls it a financial trap. We've moved almost all my real money to new accounts they can't access, leaving about $12,800 in the original accounts as bait. The fake app on my phone continues to show believable balances. Yesterday, I pretended to have a breakthrough in my recovery and suddenly remembered my bank password. With that fake tone of relief, Andrew told me how lucky I was to have a family that cares. I asked him to help me check the accounts since I was still having trouble with numbers. The greedy jerk didn't hesitate for a second to grab the phone. I saw his eyes light up when he saw the fake balances, $87,223 in checking and $26,750 in savings. They're not the exact numbers, but they're close enough to the real ones. Yesterday they offered to help me organize my finances while I recover. Tomorrow I'm being discharged from the hospital. Pretending to be weak and confused for these 2 weeks has been worth it. They don't suspect what's coming. Andrew suggested I stay at his house while I recover, claiming it would be easier than going up to the 3rd floor where I live. But what he really wants is full access to manipulate me however he pleases. I accepted with that grateful little brother attitude I absolutely hate playing, though it makes me want to take a shower every time I do. We plan to stay there for 3 days maximum, while we finalize the last details of the plan. But something strange happened this morning. Lucy pulled me aside when the others went for coffee. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying. She asked me if I was really okay, if I needed anything. For a moment, I almost told her everything, but then I remembered how she stayed silent while the others plotted to take advantage of me. The trust is broken. Shattered. I'm writing this in the hospital bathroom with the shower running so they think I'm taking a bath. Tomorrow, Harold will pick me up in his car since mine is still at my apartment. The doctors gave me strict instructions about recovery, physical therapy, and follow-up appointments. My family has already started commenting on how expensive all of this will be and how good it is that I've been saving. They have no idea what awaits them. The bait accounts are set to trigger a fraud alert, and they'll be frozen exactly 3 days after I move in with Andrew. By then, I'll be in the guest room at Harold's house. I'm scared and full of rage. Sometimes I cry in the bathroom, but I'm more determined than ever. My own family, the people who were supposed to care for me, were ready to empty my savings while I fought to survive. There's no going back from this. My next update will likely be when it's all over. Send good vibes or whatever helps this plan work. I've never been good at dealing with conflict, and maybe that's why I've been walked all over so many times, but this time is different. This time they picked the wrong person to betray. Edit 1. Please stop telling me to get a lawyer. Harold's sister is a lawyer and she's helping us for free. We've got it covered. Edit 2. Some of you suggest I should forgive Lucy because she showed hesitation. Hesitation isn't the same as defending me. She allowed it. Maybe someday she'll have a chance to explain herself, but right now, I don't trust anyone with my last name. Edit 3. I'm being discharged in 2 hours. Andrew is bringing me some pants and a shirt to change into, and yes, I will check them for hidden microphones or poison. I'm kidding. Mostly. Update. First of all, thank you. The support on my last post has been incredible. Sorry for disappearing for almost 2 weeks. A lot has happened and I needed time to process it. Buckle up. After being discharged, I moved in with Andrew as planned. His apartment was a total mess, beer cans everywhere, piles of dirty dishes, and a bathroom that honestly I was afraid to use. But I kept playing my part as the grateful brother, smiling through gritted teeth every time he helped me check my banking app. Seeing how he really lives was shocking. His refrigerator contained exactly 3 things: beer, ketchup, and a half-eaten burrito that was probably already growing penicillin. He's 35 years old and lives like a college freshman. He talks constantly about moving to a bigger place when things get better. I wonder where that money would come from. On the second day, Mom came with Lucy. They brought a home-cooked meal that was clearly just takeout put in Tupperware containers. I saw the Domino's delivery guy from the window. Mom spent the whole dinner talking about kitchen renovations and showing me Pinterest boards on her phone, saying things like, "What do you think of this tile, sweetie?" As if I cared in the slightest. I noticed Andrew wouldn't let go of his phone under the table. Later, pretending not to know where to put my plate, I saw his screen. He was talking to someone named Dave about getting the funds by Friday and paying what he owed, with interest. Gambling debts, no doubt. That night, I pretended to sleep on the couch while he talked on the phone. He was telling someone he'd have the money soon and that his brother didn't need to know. My blood was boiling, but I managed to stay calm. The hardest role I've ever played in my life. On the third day, the real fun began. I gave him access to the fake banking portal Harold created. I told him I was having trouble managing my accounts and needed his help. The greedy idiot didn't hesitate to jot down the details. The look on his face when he saw the balances was worthy of an Oscar. He looked like he'd won the lottery. He asked if I really wanted him to handle everything. I pretended to be disoriented, weak, and grateful. That same afternoon, while he went out to run errands, probably to talk to his bookie, I limped to a coffee shop where Harold was waiting for me. He had everything ready for the final stage. A fake screen that would simulate a successful transfer but wouldn't actually move anything. When I returned, Andrew didn't even notice I was gone. He was too busy making plans on the phone with Mom. I pretended to take extra painkillers and went to bed early. The next morning, everything was ready for my move to Harold's place. Before I left, Andrew asked me for a small favor, to temporarily transfer him $15,000 to cover some expenses. Sure, family is family, I said with wide eyes. I logged into the fake portal, showed the successful transfer screen, and he even hugged me. I had to restrain myself from hitting him right there. An hour later, I was settled in at Harold's, and then it was just a matter of waiting. Exactly 26 hours later, chaos erupted. Andrew was the first to call, 4 times in a row. I didn't answer. Then Mom called, then Lucy, then an unknown number, probably one of Andrew's loser friends. In less than 3 hours, I had 37 missed calls and 22 messages. At first they were panicked, then they came loaded with fury. As soon as I got back home, I checked the fake banking portal Harold had set up for my savings fund. It detected Andrew's attempt to move much more than the $15,000 we discussed. He intended to empty almost half of my supposed assets. The system returned fraud alerts, a total block, and a notice of unauthorized attempts for $47,860. Exactly what we expected from him. While I ignored their calls for 26 hours, social media told me the rest. Andrew had paid the deposit on a new truck. Mom had hired workers to start her kitchen remodel the following week. Lucy posted a picture with the caption, debt-free at last, along with a wing emoji. They were celebrating money they would never touch. After 2 days of silence, I sent a message feigning innocence. Sorry, I was feeling awful. What's going on? The onslaught was immediate. Mom revealed she'd ordered $1,900 worth of kitchen cabinets. Andrew had put down $7,500 for the truck, non-refundable. Lucy had transferred $1,100 to her credit cards. At dawn, we agreed to meet at Mom's house for dinner to try and figure everything out. I arrived looking confused and let them talk. Pale faces, sweaty hands, the tension in the room could have been cut with a knife. For 20 minutes, I played the part of the bewildered one. Andrew insisted it was just a temporary system glitch. Then I placed my phone on the table, opened the recording app and pressed play. Their own voices echoed through the kitchen. He's not going to make it, let's take his money now. Even if he wakes up, he won't remember anything. The silence that followed felt like an explosion in slow motion. Mom went pale, Andrew froze with a Birkin halfway to his lips, and Lucy burst into tears. When the recording ended, I took a deep breath and told them I'd heard every word from my hospital bed. I revealed that the accounts they accessed were a decoy and that my real money was safely hidden elsewhere beyond their reach. Andrew exploded, yelling that I had tricked them. The irony seemed to fly right over his head. Mom quickly switched to victim mode, stammering that they were only trying to be practical, and that once I got better they would have told me everything. Lucy repeatedly murmured sorry. She knew it was wrong but didn't dare stop them. I didn't yell or cry. I spoke in a voice firmer than shaky, telling them who they really were. I made it clear that from that moment on, they were on their own. Mom appealed to family loyalty. I let out a dry laugh. You stopped being my mother the moment you put my money ahead of my life. Andrew muttered threats under his breath. I played him the clip where he plotted to get power of attorney while I was suffering brain damage and warned him that I'd already sent copies to his boss and his girlfriend. Silence followed. I told Lucy that maybe someday we could talk, but not anytime soon. Then I left without looking back. It's been 2 weeks. The truck financing was canceled, and the dealership is suing Andrew for the down payment. Mom lost her deposit with the contractors, and Lucy is back in debt after her payments were reversed. I've returned to my apartment, and with Harold's help, installed security cameras. They came in handy when Andrew showed up, drunk, banging on my door. I changed my number, though I kept the old one to read their desperate pleas. Clara, the nurse who took care of me, reached out to Harold. She had gone through something similar with her family and wanted to make sure I was okay. We're having coffee next week. I'm not sure if there will be sparks, but I appreciate her genuine empathy. Today marks 1 month since I woke up from the coma, 30 days of betrayal, deception, and finally, justice. I'd like to say I feel victorious, but the truth is, it hurts. Losing my family twice, once when they betrayed me and again when I had to leave them behind, leaves an emptiness I can't quite explain. Still, there's a new strength in my chest. I'm no one's safety net anymore. This morning, I started the process of moving to a modest studio apartment by the river, far from their memories. I'm thinking about going to therapy just like Lucy says she will, and maybe I'll accept Clara's invitation to volunteer at her clinic. I don't know what's next, but I do know one thing for sure. Trust is earned, not inherited.
Thanks for listening. Share your opinion in comment section and also do like and subscribe to the channel.